Hello and welcome to Keep Hope Alive podcast. We have a fantastic show for you. I got the lovely Miss Ann Hester, MD, here with us, and she's going to talk about patient empowerment. And I'm so excited for this topic because a lot of people can learn a lot about having that empowerment to get through certain challenges in their life. So, welcome to Keep Hope Alive.
Thank you for
So,
having me.
um, Yeah, I'm so happy. Really quick before we get started, I got a random question for you. Out of the
Uh-huh.
past 20 years, yeah, or even 30, how many weddings have you been to?
The past 30 years, including my own,
Yes.
uh, I'd say 4 or 5.
Oh, okay, good, 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 good. Okay. When people are coming to a wedding, whether they're going into a church and you're the guest or it's outside, usually when they come in, there's something they need to sign. What do the guests need to sign?
The guest book.
Yay! Okay, I ask everybody. I had somebody respond their life away, and I just started laughing. I just always throw that out there because, as a certified wedding planner, I was like, well, that would be the couple signing the marriage thing. But yeah.
Was it a man who
So,
said that by chance?
huh?
Was it a man who said that, signing your life away?
You can't rem I think it was. Yeah, I think
So,
but that was a clever answer. It got me giggling, it got me laughing. So I always throw that one in there to see how people will answer that question. So but one of our biggest sponsors here is lifeonrecord.com. And instead of having that guest book, what they do is they have a vintage rotary phone they bring. And a lot of people will decorate it up and put it on, like a cabinet or something. And it's beautiful. I've seen a black and gold one. They have all different ones. And it's just gorgeous. And right next to it, they have a QR scan code for the guests. So when they come in, they can pick up the phone and say, congratulations, we're so happy on your marriage and many happy years to come. And then your guest, if they don't want to wait for that phone and pick it up, they can use their mobile device and scan it and leave a message either before or after. So once all these, I call it the gift of voice messages get collected, they will burn it either on a 12-inch vinyl record or you can have it on a keepsake speaker box. I call it the boom box, but it's really cool. So this number works anywhere in the world. You get the phone number, not the phone. You got to send the phone back, but the phone number for 1 year. So, with that being said, if it was a wedding that you were using Life on Record for, I would tell everybody like maybe 3 months before your 1 year wedding anniversary, hey, you guys can still call and leave a message and say happy anniversary. Because I always picture them celebrating their 1 year, sitting back, having that top piece of cake that they saved, and just going back, maybe put the record on the record player and just listen to all your friends and family. It'd be so cool to do that. So I know when I get married again, that is definitely what I'm doing. Their plans are only $99, which is very affordable. So please check them out at www.lifeonrecord.com. All right. So, Anne, who are you?
well, let me start from the beginning. Way back with no. Seriously, I am an internal medicine doctor. I have had a passion for empowering people. When I was in medical school, we didn't do anything but study. It was good to get sleep. So when we had time off, it was a huge thing. But when I had time off and my partners were sleeping and going out trying to enjoy life, I started writing a book. I saw so much pain and suffering, even in medical school. That's like I can't wait to finish medical school to make a difference. And so going back to 1990, it's a long time. Back to 1990, I was in medical school up until now. And until I pass from this place, my passion will be to empower people to live stronger, healthier lives. And so that's in a nutshell, who I am. And that's had many different manifestations, being an author, syndicated columnist, course creator, just a variety of things I've done to fulfill my life's mission.
Oh, good for you. I love when you know your life mission and you just set those goals and you go after it. Like a life mission of mine was I knew I wanted to be a certified wedding planner. So I got myself in the hospitality industry and I kept working my way up and up and up. And whether it was country clubs, working at a hotel, rental company, catering companies, I did it all. But I look at today as the photographer for weddings. What I capture is everybody's unique style. What is it in catering that is going to pop out for my bride and groom to see, when they're looking back at pictures? Oh, you remember eating that? That was so good. Why is she taking pictures of the, breadsticks? Because you got Olive Garden breadsticks. It could be anything as simple as that. The story will be told. I had one wedding I had to do, and it was a surprise, first glance at the bride.
Mhm.
But we tricked the groom. They had two groomsmen dressed up as girls in the dresses and flowers. So I was there to coach him. Now you're going to look back and see your bride for the first time. She's glowing. She's so beautiful. Just hold that picture. I'm going to capture that. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I have it on video, but he turned around and saw his friends all dressed. He's like, ew. But thank God they got dressed for the rest of the wedding. So, but yeah, going after goals is so important in life. And is it something you even knew you wanted to be when you were younger?
My daddy was a doctor, and people used to walk on the street, your daddy did this for me, he did this, and so forth. And I was so proud of him, and he used to spit out those long words like, I have no idea what you're saying, but it sounds good. So when I was young, I used to work in his office, kind of help him, do what I could do as a teenager. But I just didn't want to spend that much time in school. And my mother said, "You need to be a doctor." I'm like, "Nah, I don't think so." And later on in life, I decided, you were right. I want to be a doctor because I love science, I love helping people, and it was a perfect combination for my personality. So I guess
That
it
is
was
good.
decided for me early on.
Yeah, a lot of schoolwork I know is involved. And, there's times I actually, I'm kind of jealous right now. My boyfriend decided to go back to college
Uh-huh.
and he's going to be in his 50s. And it was funny. He's like, I was the oldest one in there. They thought I was the professor. And I'm like, I had to laugh at that. It was like, are you grading us from afar? But he's taken psychology and I'm so proud of him. But he's like telling me what he's learning. And I'm like, really? I just did an episode talking about this, like, too. I don't have a full degree in psychology, but it's things I've witnessed throughout life. But it's just amazing to hear his outlook and his what he's done at school too. So, but no matter what age you are, if you have a goal, go after it. If it needs school, go after it because making a difference in this world is very important.
There
So,
are a lot of ways to do that. So,
do it.
so there are a lot of ways to make a difference.
Yes, yes, there is. So this is something I guess I had written down. It's been over what, 25 years for all this experience and stuff that you've gone through. And of course you talked about the medical school. I guess there was some challenges though, maybe that you went through.
There were, as far as medical school, I mean, basically, you don't have a life. You just kind of give things up for a while and getting started in practice. And it's very difficult. It's emotionally draining to watch a lot of suffering and death. And I will never forget in medical school, um, I was probably a third year student. A lady came in and she had an area about this big on her right, I'm sorry, her left outer breast, and it was draining pus. And I was a student, but I knew that she had cancer and it was advanced. And that was, I finished medical school in 92. I finished residency in 95. So all of those years, I can still envision that room, envision her.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even a physician, but I could figure that out. And another thing that will always be etched in my brain was standing outside of the intensive care unit one day, telling a woman her husband had died. And he was
Oh,
probably in his 40s, maybe early 50s. He had, a lot of issues between being overweight, cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, and so forth. She fell on the floor in the waiting room screaming. There's just nothing you could do to console her. Those things are things that are etched in my brain. And when I look back over decades of watching people suffer and die unnecessarily, it's just, like this Energizer bunny, you just can't stop. And you've got to be doing something to help somebody. Every year, millions of die unnecessarily from diseases that are preventable, treatable, and curable,
yeah.
reversible. And so it's just, there are just no words to that kind of experience. It's very difficult.
Well, a lot of people, we see those on the medical shows, and I've always wondered, like, it is so hard for doctors to actually come out and say, I'm so sorry. I feel like they need to hire at hospitals a guardian angel to be there right by the other person's side. So when the couple, or, when the person finds out, they're there because it's so hard on your end, to be telling somebody that it hurts your insides as well. I guess they lost, but yeah, it does get etched in your brain. And it's something that is hard, God, take the steering wheel, help me with this. But I know if it was me, I'd be going home and my brain would probably be rewinding it. And, it's
It
just hard
does.
and you pray for
Seven
them.
decades ago. I mean, I finished medical school in 92. So in residency, it must have been 90, like somewhere between 92 and 95.
Yeah.
And look how many years ago, and I still can envision this. And physicians have the highest suicide rate. I mean, there's just so much that we deal with, and it has the potential to take a real toll on you.
It does. I learned something new recently. I think most people who listen to my show know I just got out of the hospital because I've been keeping it posted. I learned at the hospital, and this might go for every hospital, but the nurse was telling me that they give them lessons on defense. Like if you get a patient that tries to attack you while you're just the nurse coming into the room to help them, and they go and try to swing and punch you, they need to be able to stand up for themselves. And I was just like, you do? Like my eyes were like kind of wide open. So it made me see nurses exactly what they have to go through too. I mean, not every
It's worse.
patient's going to be easy. So,
Mhm. That with physicians, patients are typically more restrained. When the nurses come in, they're the ones who get punched, spit upon, scratched, pinched, sometimes groped, but they don't behave that way unless the person has like advanced dementia or something. But they're not going to treat the physician who is prescribing the medicine and taking care of them. They're not going to treat them the way they treat the nurses. And so nurses, it's not uncommon that nurses and nursing aides and they can be physically attacked. Not
yeah,
uncommon.
wow, this was really sad. I just kind of like, I mean, I guess I've seen things before at different hospitals, but never thought it was like really that bad. Like, in
It
my
is.
head is why would they do that? Like that, if they're going through all different medical things, who knows? I mean, for me, I just turn on soft music. You tell me something bad, I'm just gonna take it, process it, but I'm not gonna, do anything to anybody. So they're there to do their job. That is their profession. You just follow orders. So if they want to send you home, go home. you know, take their advice and follow everything. So, but definitely. So, definitely with all these things you had to go through, I think, you had pain and suffering you talked about too. Was that a part of it or did I misread?
Well, I had a medical condition close to 20 years ago, and nobody could figure it out. And being a physician, at least they would listen to me. I would know what to say, how to say it. But most people have no idea. They're face to face with the doctor. They're like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. And that's a lot of why I wrote this book. My last book, probably my last book, Patient Empowerment 101, more than a book, it's an adventure. It's because, like the deer in the headlights, it's like
Yes.
we have not taught people how to be patients. If a nurse goes to see a doctor, she knows this is what the doctor wants to know. But we have had a very paternalistic healthcare system. And so the doctors were supposed to say, this is what you do. And the patients would say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. But that doesn't work. People, they want to be part of it. And people are learning that they have a right to be at the center of their healthcare team, but they just need the tools. They just need to
Yeah.
know what to do. And it's so simple. I mean, one thing that I go through in the book, one of the major things is the fact that up until I think last January, Medicare and most insurance carriers require that a doctor would document some combination of 8 elements of what we call the history of present illness, HPI, or why are you here today, in other words. And if doctors did not document enough and they coded too high, they could be charged with insurance fraud. And that's, could be devastating. But in addition to the coding and the financial aspect, those 8 elements help a doctor figure out what's going on. And so
Hmm.
they are the context. What were you doing? Did you just lift a heavy sofa when the back started hurting? The character, is it a burning pain, a sharp pain? The location, be specific. Don't say I have belly pain. You've got a lot of organs there. Upper right abdomen, lower left abdomen. Severity, 1 to 10, 10 being, oh my gosh, childbirth, 1 being, it hurts a little bit. T timing, each time you have a problem, how long does it last? And A, associated signs and symptoms. I have nausea and vomiting with my chest pain. D, duration, how long have you endured it? And M, modifying factors. Taking a Tylenol makes my headache better. Lying in a dark room makes it better. So those things I say CCL stadium, and the I and U have nothing to do, they're just part of the mnemonic, but those 8 different um, words, those will basically let you go into a doctor's office and give a 1-minute elevator speech hitting the highlights of what the doctor wants to know, which basically means the doctor can hone in on your diagnosis quicker, fewer tests, fewer procedures, less of a need for drugs that don't work and can interact, fewer procedures that can be dangerous. And I shared this with someone recently, and she wrote it down and kept it in her phone. And a couple of weeks later, she actually ended up in the emergency room. She pulled out her phone, she went through these things. The doctor diagnosed her in the ER, treated her, sent her home, did not have to admit her. And at the end of the conversation, he said, are you in the medical field? I've never had anybody talk to me that way. And that's the point. We have not taught people how to talk to us in a way that we can expedite things. And we're looking at a shortfall of up to 124,000 doctors in 10 years. So we have got to empower people to partner in their care, expedite their diagnoses, lower their medical bills, and just have a safer encounter each time.
Now, I listen to, before I go to bed, I listen to Audible or I'll listen to YouTube, different
Uh-huh.
segments on different like things that happen. If they're, I think I was trying to learn MS symptoms, and there was somebody doing like, I don't know if it was a college lecture or just people in general there, but I tried this with one of my doctors and it absolutely worked. It helps when you write it on a piece of paper, everything you're experiencing, and do in a journal and bring that piece of paper. So I remember I went to go see my back and neck surgeon doctor, and I had it all written out. I go, yeah, by the way, I just wrote everything I'm feeling because I'm so fogged up, but I wrote down every single thing. Wow, thank you. This helps us a lot.
It
It was
does.
like a total night and day. And I was just like, so now in my purse, I have a list of symptoms that if I do go, it's hard to repeat myself. I noticed like what surgeries have you had? What medications are you on? Those are things that I don't really keep in my phone. I don't have something written down. And we were talking about the importance of have it backlogged, and that's great advice to everybody because when you have it backlogged, you don't feel like a broken record going everywhere. It's like, well, I have A, B, C, D, E, and this person came to see me and they told me this route, and then you get a totally different diagnosis. Well, they say, no, it's not that route, and you don't need to go see this doctor. And you're like, what do I do? What do I do? So they were like, we could see you're frustrated, but like being frustrated, but not like showing it. Like I'm not like mad frustrated. I go, help me understand why. And that's the only question I've ever thrown at a doctor. Walk me through this. I even said to my doctor, what you're telling me I have, and you have all these other big words right next. I go, can you write the main big word on the whiteboard? And
That's
they wrote
a
it out, and I was like, okay. And it's a rare condition, so I was like, I don't want to look too much in Google because I know doctors don't like that. I don't need to freak myself out, but I know the importance of what I have now, and it was totally hidden. I never knew I had this, but it's one thing to ask those questions and don't be scared of your medical professional, period. Yeah. So, like, when you said that, that is really important. I just wanted to stress that out because it just happened to me. I had to learn to advocate for myself and learn how to talk. And, if I caught somebody saying something that wasn't true, yeah, I stood up for myself. They were like, no, the gynecologist was in here talking to you. And I'm like, no, they weren't. Yes, they were. So I'm on my phone calling them. Were you actually in this room number talking to me? Because I don't remember. No, we never visit you. Okay. So, I mean, I kind of figured it out. Felt like I had to play a little investigator. I hate to admit that to you, but I had to because it was making me feel like, I know they're giving me payment, but I would know the main reason I was there if I talked to somebody in person or not. So you're smiling. Have you ever had that happen?
well, that's not that out of the ordinary, that a nurse would assume, I thought I saw this doctor go into this room, but they went to this room. I mean, so I can see that that kind of
Yeah, definitely. So I do want to ask you a couple more questions, but
yes.
really quickly, I need to talk about our other sponsor. Put on my mommy glasses here. So let me ask you, have you ever seen snap bands? They're all over Facebook lately. So the back of them have this gentle elastic and everything. So my top one, it says faith. Now, is this new to snap bands? Yes, but here's the kicker. You can only get the faith bracelet if you write the promo code KHA, Keep Hope Alive. So that is the only way you can get faith right now. The other one is Hope. I've been wearing Hope for a while now, and I love their concept. So I'm just going to kind of like tell you all about snap bands really quick. So the world is a stressful place for everyone with work, school, relationships, health issues, finances, the nightly news. There's anxiety every day. Negative thoughts can keep popping into your head over and over again. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of anyone to love me. Bad things always happen to me. If you ever have these types of thoughts, you are not alone. More than 40 million Americans are diagnosed with anxiety disorder. Anxieties, worries, and fears can stop you from finding inner peace and achieving your true potential. You deserve to live your best life. Finally, there's an amazing new bracelet called Snap Bands that was invented to help you reduce anxiety, control OCD, and calm stress. Snap bands are a cognitive behavioral therapy tool based on proven brain neuroscience, and the way Snap bands works is amazing. Snap bands bracelets look like a stylish piece of jewelry on your wrist, but its unique design actually hides a secret elastic band that sits right on the inner wrist, which is a pressure point to your brain's nervous system. When you give the elastic a light tug, you feel a very gentle, soft vibration on your inner wrist. A gentle physical sensation is all you need to reduce anxiety. And here's why. Did you know that the human brain can only deal with one emergency at a time? Well, whenever you feel an unwanted negative thought in your head, gently snap the elastic on your inner wrist. It forces your brain to focus on the gentle physical sensation you feel, which instantly disrupts the unwanted negative thought from your brain. This gives you freedom to reset your mind with a positive mental focus. The mantra word on your snap bands bracelet helps you to refocus and reset. There are 7 right now, different mantra words that you can choose from. Now 8 if you get the code, but they have believe, blessing, dream, fearless, hope, love, and peace. Just choose the mantra that resonates with you mostly. And once you snap it, use your mantra word immediately to reset your positive mental focus with the mantra expression like, I believe in myself. I am a blessing. I am fearless. I will always have hope. I used that recently at the doctor's. I don't, hey, I'm going to pray for everybody and hope that this goes well. And, it has helped me. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and say this company no, is this actually works. So I'm happy to be talking about snap bands today, and I'm going to shorten this up a little bit, but they come in all different beautiful colors from pink, green, blue, brown, white, black. And with those choices of words, they are durable. I can do my dishes. I can take a shower in them. I haven't tried swimming because it's winter time, but it is something I'm definitely going to do. And, they are just wonderful to have. Please check them out at www.snapbands. Let me spell that for you. SNAPPBANDZ.com. And if you would like the word faith, give them KHA. They will get you a faith bracelet too. So other than that, let's get back with you, Ann. Thank you for hearing that out. So now you talked about having a book out there and everything. So tell us about your books.
Well, the only book currently on the market is Patient Empowerment 101. More than a book, it's an adventure. And the adventure part is in the pages, there are URLs, and that will take you inside the patientempowerment101.com website. And it will allow you to download parts of your own medical record, that you can create your own medical record. It will also take you through, give you, some little humanoid type videos that I created. Um, so it's an empowering part, and also it goes through your symptoms. For instance, you develop abdominal pain. There are certain things the doctors want to know. Do you have nausea? Do you vomiting? Have vomiting? How are your bowels? Have you had any black stools? That could mean there's blood in the stools. That's the list of FAQs that we have that you may not know about. But I go through this for 11 things: abdominal pain, chest pain, back pain, fever, so forth. So once the person develops symptoms, they can immediately download this form, fill it out as a Word document. So they can fill it out on the computer, they can print it, they can save it to the computer, they can email it, they can do whatever they want to, and they can, note, okay, I had abdominal pain, this was the month, save it, abdominal pain, April 2024. And so they can see over several times what's going on. But more importantly, if they print it, they can take it to the doctor. And when the doctor is asking these questions, they will have already thought through it. What often happens is you're sitting on a cold examining room table, you're angry the doctor is late again. You're half naked with that flimsy gown, and the doctor asks you questions. You have to think it through. I once asked a lady a yes or no question. It took her 10 minutes to answer the question. But the purpose of having these FAQs, doctor's FAQs, is because you develop chest pain, abdominal pain, cough, so forth. You read these, and By the time he asks you, yes, no, 3 weeks ago, you already have all the answers. And so you can expedite your own diagnoses. The same charts are actually in the book, but I also give you the downloadable form as well. So that's the adventure part.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And you created this for everybody to be on top of their game when they have to go to their hospital. And I would say go and get you that book right away. I know I'm going to. And I want to create my own file. It's funny because I got so frustrated last year trying to create my file that I was like, this is too much. And my ex was like, but you need it. You have to have this backup document charting. I go, I've been in the hospital since the age of 9. I'm like, I was 45 at the time. I go, that's a long time.
Mhm.
Can I pay somebody to do this?
But
But
the synopsis is great. And actually, if you go to patientempowerment101.com and scroll down, you can download a mini medical record for free, and you just fill it out. You
good.
keep it in your wallet. So if you're in an emergency room, you go shopping, you go out to eat, and you fall and you hurt yourself, you end up in the ER, you pull it out. The doctor sees your allergies, your medical problems, variety of things. So it's on 2 pages. You print it, you turn it over, and print the other side. So, pardon me, on one document, you have your own mini medical record. So that's something you can keep in your wallet with you too.
I'm gonna do that right away. Yeah, I grew up with epilepsy, and I was telling the doctor sent me out yesterday and said, this is when you come back to the ER for this symptom. And he told me what two major things, to keep. But I was like, what if like I'm in San Antonio this weekend, we're walking the river walk and something happened to me? Is my boyfriend really gonna know? Like I know they make things like bracelets where you can scan and have that too, but I just don't know how well that does. But the thought of having that in my wallet for them to pull it out. Like there's things, you know, I know a lot of the doctors and people in the world are getting stimulators for nerve damage. I have one of them in my back. But when it comes to MRIs, it's like, oh no, we need to call them. Do you have a card? Yes, here's the card. But they still couldn't do the MRI. They said the level that they needed it on could have melted the whole system in my back. So they weren't able to do that to get an answer. And I was just like in my head and going, well, that's sad. What if I really needed this to find out what's going on in my body that this is preventing from that answer? So, there's different things. And I think, when you said you were school for a long time, that it feels like do you guys get refreshing courses? Like, did they do that?
You have to keep up, you have to get continuing medical education to keep your license. So different states have different requirements, but 40, 50 hours of continuing education every couple of years, that's got to be documented. So, and especially for your board exam to remain board certified, you've
Yeah.
got to prove I'm keeping up with the medical literature.
That's good. That's good to know. So I think a lot of people would like to know that question too. So as far as when you are working with your clients, I know you have the book. It's for sale. Do you have it on Audible too?
No, it's in Kindle at this point, Kindle and the hard copy.
And the hard copy? Perfect. And I will get that added. We have a store on the website. So when
Oh,
they
okay.
are watching this podcast, they go right to the store, find the book, and you can purchase it right away.
Sounds
So, but yeah, definitely. Now, what would be your social medias and, what does it look like if they want to reach out to you? Do you offer like a meeting through Zoom or how do you
well.
do that?
In April, I'm going to start group coaching, and only can be so many slots per each round, just so I can give people attention. But if anybody has an interest in learning more, they can reach out to me at support@patientworld.net. And speaking of patientworld.net, if you go to patientworld.net/thrive, you can download a free ebook that gives you information that can actually help you live
Yay.
longer.
Yay.
So that's something else I would recommend. And the
Okay.
patientworld.net is a platform with a lot of very valuable on-demand courses you can take whenever you want to, and also learn variety of things, everything from maintaining your weight to preventing heart disease to living longer, all sorts of courses from a variety of experts.
Wow, that's amazing. I know I'm going to be checking it out for sure, 100%. So,
Sounds
and
good.
when I post your podcast app, we'll have all your information on there as well. And you do a podcast as well. Tell us about your podcast.
Yes, the podcast is also Patient World. So it's youtube.com/at Patient World. And I interview doctors, but I also interview patients. I interview people. I just recently interviewed the founder of Invisible Warriors, Nancy Becker. She has a nonprofit that deals with women who are dealing with chronic issues, uh, autoimmune issues, chronic issues. So the patient experience is not just doctor tells patient. The patient experience is what the patient is feeling, what the patient needs. And
Yes.
so it's a 360, everybody's input matters. You don't have to be a doctor or a nurse. You have an experience, and that experience can help somebody get through his or her experience. So that's
Yes.
what,
Amen to that. That's why we're here because somebody else's story can help another person in the world.
and you should be on
And
my podcast.
I will. I'm going to
Okay.
talk to you about that later because I'm a challenging case and I would love to be a guest on your show.
Okay. I'd love to have you.
So, but definitely, I mean, that is amazing. And guys, really quick, if you have any questions, you can always give us a call at 833-780-HOPE 4673. Any questions for Dr. here, you can send them her way and I'll send it over to her and she'll answer it and we'll get back to you as well. That's what we are here for, is to bring this knowledge. And I love that you have a podcast and share that information.
Yeah, the
But
information counts.
there's so many different illnesses out there. And I'm gonna tell people don't be like me because I used to be like, I got this. What does Google say? That's the wrong way to go about it, guys. Wrong way. You've got to have trust and faith in your medical staffing of who you go see as far as doctors, that they'll lead you the way. Yes, I can say that right now, but do I still look? Yeah. It's not going to be taken away. Let's be honest here. So, I had a rash. I still have it. I had two doctors look at it. One said autoimmune, the other one's like, I don't know, but here's a cream. The cream is working.
Steroids.
Huh?
I said steroids. We use
And
steroids
steroids, yes,
for
I had to
explosive
go pick
rashes.
up, yeah, because it's actually working. The first set I ever got for it did not work. And I was like, right. So this was a stronger one that I tried, and it's like, okay, night and day, we got this. Let's go get this fixed and everything. So, but I am just so happy you came on the show today to talk to us. Everybody, reach out to her because you know what? Like, I gotta say, having your book out there on market and how to do that, I don't care if, you know what, younger generation, you need to listen to this. You may not have health issues yet.
Yes,
I'm gonna say yet. It is
yes.
gonna come one day, but be prepared and be ready and be on top of your game because they don't teach you this when you're younger. You're going through life going as it hits, as it comes. What do they need? Do you have that circle of friends? Do you have that circle of support? If you needed to get help to go to the doctors and stuff, learning to talk to your doctor, very important. Be respectful to all your doctors and just let them know if you don't understand something, it's not that you're being dumb or stupid. It's just like you really don't understand and have them spell it out for you. So you can go back knowing what you're up against and not have to depend on internet to kind of teach you.
Agreed. I like the term be respectfully assertive. So you
Yes.
have to be respectful, but also let them know this is my body. I need to know what's going on. If you don't explain it to me in correct terms, do it again. I like what you did, write it down. And so that's one of the things I talk about. Know your exact diagnosis. Don't say, I have a belly problem, I have a kidney problem. What does that mean? Know the exact diagnosis. And if you don't know how to spell it, you don't know how, what it's supposed to look like on paper, ask the doctor, ask his nurse, ask somebody. So when you walk out, you know the exact name, not ballpark. Ah, it's kind of this, kind of that. No, what exactly is it?
So I told you what I have. So I don't care if we share it to the world because they'll find out sooner or later. How do you say it?
Interception.
Yeah, okay. Whatever that word was. When I asked, so the doctor had like, I guess she was in training or something. But when I said, can you write it down? She went up to the board, no paperwork in hand, and wrote it word by word. And I'm like, you memorized how to spell that? Like, yeah, you have to in medical school. And just like, wow, that was amazing. But I really need, I even took a picture with my phone, what it is. I don't forget what it is.
Absolutely.
I
It's
have my
vital that you
paperwork.
know exactly what it is.
No, what I like with what my doctor did, you know how they do the notes at the end? He goes, I'm going to put more detail in the notes for yours. So just give me a few more minutes to write it out.
Mhm.
And, I think it's funny because my mom tries to read over my medical diagnosis. And if it ever says eat vegetables and fruit, see, I told you, Nadine, you need to eat sugar. No sugar, no salt. I go, Mom, I'm eating raisin bran. There's sugar on that raisin. I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. Like, I'm trying my best. What do you want me to do? I had two bananas this week. Well, I didn't see you eat them because you weren't around. I
She's
could make
just
a
trying to
comedy
keep
show
you
out of
healthy.
this.
Fruits, vegetables, and grains. She's just giving you some loving. That's all.
I will take it as the loving part, but I feel like, and I love fruit. I eat fruit all the time, and she just is never there when I eat it. So but I thank you for coming on. And really quick, I wanted to thank our other sponsors for Keep Hope Alive. As I mentioned before, lifeonrecord.com, your interactive guest book. So if you're planning an event and want to hear people saying congratulations, I used it for my son's football team when they had an accident and the kid broke his leg. All the kids got on the phone, left a message to get well. Out the door goes, and that kid's probably like laying back going, hey, I got this. So, and then also snapbands.com, check them out. The bracelet that reduces anxiety, OCD, makes life wonderful. And I'm gonna just pull this out. When they say cognitive thinking, that is something my doctor told me to work on because I got diagnosed with PVA from having a concussion, and I was like, PVA, so it goes away in a day or two? No. So I love it. It's kind of fun for me because I can't think or stress too much. It's either crying a lot or laughing a lot. And I think I get giggles, but it just makes me who I am. And I'm not going to read too much into that. I just like to have fun. I'm just a little bit more giggly these days. So but our next one is Ogden Ventures LLC. Marcus Ogden, he is a former NFL player, keynote speaker, podcast, and best-selling author. You can visit his website, and I'm going to spell this out too. It's www. Marcus is spelled Marquess, Ogden, OGDEN.com. Our next one is bridalshowsinc.com. If you are getting married or planning an event, they have about maybe 5 to 6 bridal shows out of the year where you can go meet different vendors. They're showcasing their work, talk to them, set up an appointment, get pricing, and have them at your event. So check them out. Next one is milesandSmilesEvents.com. Miss Deborah Rose, her background is investigation, but this makes her a cool chick because she really is. I met with her a few times and seen her in action. She's a handwriting analysis and lipstick reader. So she goes to events and she's 100% accurate each time. I've seen other people's mouths how did you get that from me? So it's like, hey, you're having a party here, Deborah Rose is here. I'm like, I want to watch everybody else go through. Like that's how good she is. So our next one is Bryce Harney at www.brycemagic.com. Bryce is throughout the United States. You've probably seen him on TV once or twice, but he is a magician and mind mentalist. He does big corporate events. I love that he does church events because he can go in there with what you're learning and kind of with what the sermon is and do the magic to go with it and the mind mentalist stuff. So I would say YouTube him, search Bryce Harney. He's fun to watch. So and hireable. Our next one is richmondpunch.net. Richmond graduated from the Juilliard. He is a violinist. He's been in business for over 30 years. It's not just a business to him. He is super talented. So, I mean, I think it was a funeral that they had 1 million people there. They asked him to play at. And then he had 2 spots on Lifetime shows to kind of do background violin music, but he's amazing, truly talented guy. He does travel, so reach out to him as well. And then TK Hair Salon, they're located in Plano, Texas. So if you're coming my way, stop by tkhairsalon.com. If you're guy, girl, children, they do the haircuts, they do the coloring, even updos. I had to go and do a second chance prom and they made my hair look really pretty. And I always say I have to be blonde now because I keep getting gray. But they do a good job of covering the grays, let me tell you. So check them out as well. So wherever you guys find your podcast, you'll be able to find Keep Hope Alive. Remember to call us if you have questions at 833-780-HOPE, which is 4673. And if you would like to be a guest speaker, please come send out that guest intake form at www.keephopealivepodcast.com. And thank you for coming on to the show. You're so smart, so educational. You gave this eye opener. And I mean, my mouth, I thought I knew you before interviewing, but now I really know you. And I got to know your book a little bit better. And I gotta say, that is very smart, genius, clever adding the URLs.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm very impressed. And I think other people will be impressed too, because I'll laugh at this. Not too many people know what podcast is. When I do karaoke, and
Uh-huh.
karaoke is unfortunately always at a bar, there's an older crowd that goes there. So one of my friends, he's like in his 70s or 80s, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing a podcast. You mean a vlog? No. Do you mean a blog then? Not a vlog, a blog? I go, no, it's a podcast. What's that? And I go, it's a video of me talking, interviewing people. He's like, I'll never watch that. I go, why? Because I would lose my time at the bar. I mean, you could fall asleep just listening to me talk. If you're taking a road trip, you can listen to the people I'm interviewing. But I think it's kind of cute how the other generation,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not too knowing
Definitely,
what. But
definitely
you
changes.
know, I have this huge bookstore on my website for Keep Hope that you can buy the book. And I know if I ever talk to him again and go, hey, I interviewed a lady and I loved using Linktree as one of my social media outlets, and I can send that episode right to his phone. And then he'll be able to go, oh, it's in her store. I'm going to go to her website, go to the store, find it, buy. Yes, I got the book. I got this. I was able to print everything off because it was all listed and everything. So that's a wonderful concept. You're helping so many people.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
That is my dream and my desire. So to be able
yay.
to make a
Well,
difference really makes me happy.
yay. I love hearing that. Well, until next time, guys, we'll see you on our next episode. We've hit season 14. Whoop, whoop. More guest speakers, more interesting. I'll kind of give a sneak peek to our next person come out. Has to do with wild horses. Woo! Yeah, stay tuned, guys. Bye-bye. Mwah. Love and light.